Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to LGE for the second night of RTG racing. And it's the fifth round in the Wednesday tier, and we're here in Interlagos, of course, in Brazil, on the outskirts of the Sao Paulo. And of course, we call it Brazil, but the last couple of years, it's been known as the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, potentially having another race in Brazil at some point in the near future. The circuit, however, is 4.309 kilometres in length, 2.67 miles in length. It's got 15 corners around the circuit, and of course some famous ones like the S and others like that. Josh McGill is leading the championship at the moment with 85 points, followed very, very closely behind by Short Marcus on 84 points, and then Paul Jones is in third on 68 points. Fourth place is Chuck. Fifth place is Ginge. Ferrari are leading the Drivers' Championship. They're the first team into Constructors' Championship, and then the first team into triple figures with 107 points. Alpine are in second on 85, and the Alfa Romeos are on 73 points in third place. We've got 19 drivers tonight. The bottom four will be knocked out in Q1, then the bottom five in Q2, and then the shootout for pole for the Q3 session. So we've already had a couple of drivers come out on track, and talking about drivers, Lee, not sure if you have got the memo yet, but we've got a couple of new drivers this evening.
I'm seeing, two?
Yeah, there is. I think Bob Ross and Elegant, he was in on Monday as well, which obviously didn't race in Spain.
Oh, that's good to know then. I'm still need to sort out this. 2 seconds.
No problem, we'll be back in a minute after he sorts out the stream. We've got the Intermediate Championship going on right now in that AlphaTauri. Number 3, not Daniel Ricciardo, it's Bob Ross in that AlphaTauri. He makes his way out of the final corner of Junção, or the final braking zone of the lap. We've got these extra couple of corners coming up now before we make our way to turn 1, up the hill, and then at the summit of the hill, we go into the apex of turn 1. Down the hill we go through this slight roller coaster section of the Senna S, or of the Interlagos circuit, of course being the Senna S, and now we go down the Reta Reposta, the back straight, the DRS straight, where we will see some potentially great overtakes into Tecigo de Lago, which is this corner here, turn 4 and 5, before we go on to Ferrajula of turn 6. Not sure if Lee's done what he needs to do, but he'll give me an answer if he's there now or there in a minute. He is there. One of my absolute favourite circuits in Interlagos, Lee. It's absolute cracker, I think.
That is a good track, to be honest. It's quite technical. A couple of good straights as well, so it's a good wee mix, I would say.
So it's Bob Ross, comes up to the line. We've been on board with him his entire lap, but it is an intermediate lap, so it won't be representative, but we'll see what he can do in there. And I'll tell you what, he only 3 and a bit seconds off of provisional first place at the moment. It's not bad going on the Inters.
Yeah. Actually, not too far off as
Bugatti.
What we would have expected anyway.
Bugatti's showing some serious pace this season in all tiers that he's racing in. Not sure if he's in Thursday as well. I think he might be, actually. He's definitely Monday and Wednesdays, but he's certainly upped his game this season. Just like Matthew as well. Obviously, we usually see Matthew getting right up there in qualifying, but he did have trouble sorting it out in the race. This season, however, he's started to get a grips, and I heard personally from him on Monday that he's absolutely loving F123 at the moment. So showing some good performances. He's 6th in the championship right now. He's not attended 2 of the 4 races we've done so far, but the 2 races he has been a part of, he's been on the podium, and he took pole last week as well. So he'll be one to keep an eye on in Q3 if he gets that. I have to say, Lee, it's looking like quite a nice day into Lagos. This is our championship leader, Josh McGill, goes provisional first in Q1. Yeah, it's looking quite a nice day in Brazil, so it looks like we'll have a clear day. I don't know what it's been like in Bonnie, Scotland, Lee, but it's been a swelter here down in humble Gloucestershire.
I mean, up here it's been kind of dull, but like humid.
So it's so humid. I mean, I've got into fresh clothes and I'm already drenched. Sorry if that's a bit of too much information for people, but yeah.
No, I get that, honestly. I think everybody in the UK would agree that it's the humidity that gets you.
Wow, Bob Ross was on the intermediates. Prodigy and Short Marcus were both on the intermediates as well, Lee. They're 8th, 9th and 10th, but Bob is miles ahead.
Yeah, I think Short Marcus had a couple of wobbles in that when I flicked past. So we've got Ginge going for it as well, and Chuckles on a lap as well.
So I will say we haven't had any highlight videos or moments of the week this week. I've been rather busy getting my hours done so I can go away this week, because I haven't actually got annual leave. I've just staggered my time, so I'm able to get away for 5 days from work. So I've been stuck with that. So we won't have any moments of the week or anything like that, but we're not going to have moments of the week from it anymore. We've been having a chat with Prof about it and some of the other admins, what we want to do. So every weekend from now on, we'll have a highlights video of all 3 days, a bit shorter than they usually are. It'll be about 15 minutes in total. And then we're going to have, and this is the first time Lee's hearing about this as well, we're going to have overtakes of the month, Lee, where us commentators and the admins get to pick the best overtake of the month, and we'll do a top 10 or a top 5, whatever we decide to do.
Oh, nice. Right, no worries then.
So all us commentators and said admins will have an input on which overtakes should be put in there, and we'll all vote on which one is the best, or the top 3, and we'll work out the rest from there, as Ginge goes 11th fastest on that intermediate as well, getting closer to that Bob Ross time. But he's now out on the medium tyres, so he's going on a slick set, but not the softest and slickest set. He's gone for the medium of the range. So we've been.
I think it's just Paul Jones Jr. now. It's still on the Intermediate Cup.
He makes his way around the hairpin left-hander. As you're going into Pato, and then goes round Mugello, and on the way to Young Cal, which this year, Lee, I've found this game, should I say, is he's got a Miss Williams right behind him, and now he takes out the liquid molly boards as he made an error out of Young Cal. But going into Young Cal, Lee, in previous games we've been able to sort of cut the grass a bit and get away with it there. F123, you do not want to touch the grass on most circuits, which I find especially at Interlagos. Touching the grass here is absolutely deadly.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that quite often. It's even some curbs as well you need to just steer clear of. Like, it's just so different to the previous game, I would say. Yeah.
So as we've got Chuck now on his first attempt, making his way down the Reta Raposta to the curve to see the Lago, as he takes the curb quite nicely there, left nothing to spare through to Lago, and now through turn 7 and 8 of Ferrajula, and then we go through the turn 8 and turn 9 that have no lanes before we come to Bico de Pato at turn number 10, which I always find I get a load of understeer into that turn 10. So we've got a Williams there just parked off the road. I wonder who that is. It's got to be Cameron. He's going to get disqualified in a minute. Oh, he gets going again. Obviously staying out the way, but in a very peculiar way. So as it stands, with just under 8 minutes to go, Lee, the top two in the championship. Oh, sorry. No, that's incorrect. Sorry, Short Marcus is one of them who still hasn't set a representative time yet. Still got 3 drivers yet to set a time. One of those being Paul Jones, and he's out on the circuit.
I just was watching Josh McGill there, and he's on the intermediates right now, even though he's set a soft time. And he was just going for one, and turn 3 he just went a wee bit over the apex and just invalidated there. So he's kind of buggered himself, unless he's going again, if he's got the fuel.
Paul now going for his, it's his second attempt. First attempt was on the Inter, so this is his true first attempt with just over 6 minutes to go. He's going to cut it tight if he's going to want to get another lap in on the board and have another fresh set to do that lap time. But of course he's got to get this one out the way first, try and get himself a banker lap under his belt as he makes his way up to Ferragula. Ferragula, I think, is also a pretty ballsy corner as well. That one, white-knuckled corner, especially would be in real life, I can imagine. That
so
uphill
6-7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as well, I would say sometimes as well, if you've got the opportunity, sometimes there's a little chance for an overtake as well. But even then,
there can be on the inside at turn 8. Yeah, there can be. I've done it before as Paul Jones goes 6th fastest. So still seeing drivers, Lee. We're not overly used to seeing in the bottom quarter really of the leaderboard at the moment. We've got Chuckle, Gin, Short Marcus, Lewis as well. He's quite a newcomer. He's been doing quite well as well. Teachman as well, having a pretty good season. Also, but his McLaren teammate, Short Marcus, is just starting another attempt into the Senna S. Just so many tricky corners around this circuit, but it's so satisfying if you get it right round here. And it's just one of those, again, like we had Belgium last week, you just can't replicate these old school circuits. As he goes slightly wide through the Curva de Sol. Oh, Cedar Salago, sorry.
No, I do agree with you. Like the older circuits are just so far superior. Like,
just got more character. Just so much more character.
Suzuka, Silverstone,
and even Silverstone's been changed quite a lot, especially in the last sort of just over a decade. But it's still got that essence of Silverstone still there. I actually think this version is one of the better versions there's been. I know there's been quite a few changes over the last sort of 20, 30 years.
Yeah. I would say it would be good if you got different layouts of tracks.
Yeah, on the game. Yeah, I do miss Bridge Corner. Bridge Corner was fun.
Like, it would be good to do it like the old, like, 2002 sort of way, you know? Like, remember when we were on the track? And that was in the old Sector 3.
On what, sorry?
I think it was when we went to Silverstone.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm on about. Bridge Corner, that corner there, that right hand that we stood on.
Right,
That's Bridge Corner. Yeah, it was quite an exciting corner, that one. I remember Lewis Hamilton saying that he got a setup on a car, I think it was 07 or 08, and the car in that bit of sector, like Bridge, Brooklands and Luffield, was fantastic, and the rest of the circuit, it was horrendous. But just those like 3-4 corners, he said he's never had a better car.
Oh well. Perfectly set up for that, but push the rest of the track. Probably.
Yeah, you get that in the game though, where some corners just feel fantastic and then others. As I said here, for me, always turn 10, the right-hander that's sort of off camber goes downhill. As we've got this Williams on the lap, and he's got an Alfa Romeo ahead of him. I don't think he realised till the very last second he was on a lap. I think he's just got away with that, though, Lee, as we were watching Rossi. I don't know if you saw that. I think he just got out of the way in time.
I think that was Shuckle. Was he short Marcus just putting in a lap of 1.8 or 108.9, sorry. Oh, Bob Ross 108.2. Past the slap up to now.
So, seeing Bob Ross go on to provisional first place, only a couple of minutes, of course, left in the session. We saw this with Farth a couple of weeks ago, a new driver reserved for that week in China on Thursday. I think it was round 3. And he really put his mark on Thursday that day. And Bob Ross already starting to show that in the first qualifying session, that he means business.
Elegant sound.
Is he? You think he's on a lap, isn't he, or was on a lap?
Yeah, he was on a lap exit turn 9.
Oh, he's just getting these lower cars now. They really get bogged down on the grass, don't they? They really don't like the grass, and he's lost his entire front wing. So he's going to be out. He's going to be starting at least 17th, and I think he will be starting 17th actually, because Cameron is in the pits. He's not coming back out. Tej hasn't set a lap. I'm not sure if he had a qualifying ban. I'm not too sure about that one. So Aki in a spot of bother at the moment. On a lap. He's going to cross the line with time to spare as he comes through Mugello and down to Young Cow. Keep an eye on that grass on the right-hand side. Don't touch it in F123. It will do you absolutely no favours. We've got Matty Jones already retired from the session a few minutes ago, and now Prodigy doing the same thing in third place. And where's Aki going to go? He's 16th at the moment, 109.2 to beat. He does, goes to a 109 dead, and that will mean he is safe as houses. Phil just going to start a lap. So really now, Lee, Clay's at risk. Ginge is also potentially in danger here because Ross behind him just starting a lap, maybe getting a toe off that Mercedes. So it's these three we're concentrating on now. Ginge, Ross and Phil are the only ones that can be knocked out now by my calculations.
Sorry, I didn't realise my mic was muted. Yeah, it does seem like that, but if they go up above Aki could go out, could he not? No. So yeah, it's all down to these three, and the one that could get knocked out is Clay.
Yeah, Clay can't get knocked out. Yeah, Clay is safe. Oh no, is he? I don't think he is actually, is he?
He's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. So, Ginge and Ross on the final stretch to the line now. Let's see what time Ginge is going to be able to put in. Is he going to be able to get out?
He does, and Ross goes faster. Clay in danger. Here comes Phil. He's 3/10 up on his time. Is that going to be enough? It is, as it stands. It might knock Clay out.
But he's straining that back. Oh! And he just manages to make it through. That gap is really close.
Wow, look at that. Between 8th. Look at that, between 8th and 16th. Wow.
5th and 16th.
5th and 16th is 2/10.
2/10 between 5th and 16th. That is madness.
I'm excited for the next two parts. Put it that way.
So between up till 16th is 8/10 between the whole grid. Right, between 1st and 16th, sorry.
Jode?
And I don't think he realises we could hear him.
Sorry about that, I thought I was on mute.
So we run down the order from first of 3 qualifying sessions. We've got Bob Ross, then it was Josh McGill, Prodigy, Paul Jones Jr., Matty Ross, Chuck, Ginge, Phil, Matty Jones, Sean Marcus, Chuckle, Bugatti Sullivan, Lewis, Ake, and then Bina eliminated, and will be starting in 16th is Clay the Monkey, Elegant will be starting 17th, Cameron Simpson 18th, and 19th is Tidgeman. So, 8 tenths. That is just. I think that's the closest we've seen between.
Yeah, that's the closest we've seen for a long time. Especially, as I said, between those 11 drivers being 2 tenths. 2 tenths, it's nothing. Welcome everyone who is watching along. We've got into double digits on the watch counter at the moment. Fantastic. Hope you're enjoying the content in this fifth round, the final stage before the mid-season has finished. No mid-season break though in RTG. We'll be back again next week. We'll be at Zandvoort tomorrow with Lee. I'm not here, unfortunately. I'm away listening to hopefully some great music at a festival and having a fantastic time, having a bit of a blowout in my late 20s, because why not? And we've got 15 drivers for this Q2 session, and a load of them coming out already.
Let's see. So first one out was Matty Jones, and then it's the Haas of, I think it's Phil. He just managed to beat the drop zone in Q1. We've got also Chuckle and Sean Marcus running out. So there's a few people starting to come out now. Kind of miss seeing some of the medium compound tires on in Q2. I would say that, but hey ho. You still there?
I am still here, yeah. Sorry, I was just in the middle of doing something.
Oh, right. Yeah. Matty Jones, for the looks of it, will be the first one to put a time on the board. Up to now, anyway.
So that Aston Martin driver being the first one, as Lee said, to set a lap, so he makes his way down the Reta Raposa into Desida del Lago. Been looking very good this season, Matty Jones.
Yeah, he has been looking very competitive, especially in race conditions, I would say, anyway.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look back at Thursday. He's second in the championship on Thursday, a bit lower down.
And there's an Alfa Romeo of, I think that might have been Ake there, in the way of Matty Jones, so that might have compromised his lap there as he was at the end of sector 2. So he's coming across the line still. What time is he going to be able to put on the board? A 109.7, he's going to have to go again. I would say down Phil is Chuckle puts in a 109.2, Phil with a 109.8. I think it's Bob Ross up next, and up I see Alpine of Josh McGill. And across the line, 108.7.
So I think we got to a 108.4, didn't we, at the end of Q1? Bob Ross goes fastest with professional first in Q2. 108.4 for him. Who is up next? So we've got Short Marcus, the driver second in the championship. However, he's invalidated. So he's going again by the looks of things. He's got about half his battery remaining. We'll potentially have a good go at it. Ross G making his way to the line now, taking the shortest run, staying to the left-hand side, goes fifth fastest with a 19.407. And then, who have we got next on our list? It was the Scotsman of Lewis, moving up to 6th place in that Red Bull.
We've got Matthew as well coming to the line. Goes fourth with 108.9.
Ginge, the driver, up next. What time is he gonna set? Fifth fastest for him, and Tsunaki invalidated, so he's going again. Chucky's up next, followed by Short Marcus, who's not too far behind him. Not close enough, though, to get a tow. As Chuck comes across the line, then Short Marcus makes his way to the line, goes 7th fastest. He can improve on that. I'm pretty confident of it. Prodigy starting another lap, I think, because he did a 1:10.4 with a cooldown, Lee. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been quite going for it without the ERS, mind you. But he's going again.
He is, as Paul Jones makes his way out of Young Cow, getting a bit of a slide on through the exit, having to wrestle that steering wheel as he makes his way towards the line, going over the yellow paint there, and goes up into 6th, the driver in 3rd place in the championship. Aki coming to the line now, goes 9th. Still very close in that midfield pack, Lee. Very, very close on those first runs.
108.7. What do you think? Cut off.
Cut off. 8.8 I'm going to go. A little bit higher than you. Just because it's so close.
That's what I'm saying, it is so close between this whole grid. Just the sheer competitiveness of every driver out there. Oh, Phil's out on track again on his out lap. Seen the comment there, RTG Lee there, saying, have a good race, you bunch of fuckers. And he's on about how tight the grid is, it's just mad, but yeah.
Certainly it's been very, very impressive so far. And we've still got 8 minutes of this Q2 session to go. Phil, about to start his next attempt, and his teammate is on an outlap as well. They've got to find some more pace, a lot more pace, especially Phil, Proddy and Matty Jones. Lewis is getting closer as well as Ross, but they still need to find some. But where's that pace going to come from, Lee? The back of the sofa? In the garden shed? Where's it going to come from?
I mean, they're going to have to get some as much power as they can and just try and take the corners as smoothly as they can. Hope that they get the traction right on the exit. Oh, since Phil just gone that wee bit wide there. Maybe using up a bit much of the track. Getting the grass on entry there and missing the apex at Young Cow. Final stretch to the line. The time is going to put in for 109.3. Only moves him up to 11th place.
And I think it will be Bugatti next. Prodigy is ahead of him, but he's on an outlap. And I think he's bailed out, and he's going to go again. Yeah, he's 5 seconds down this time. And now he's going to have to give it the beans down at Young Cow before we go up the hill and ascend towards the Sun OS.
So we got across the line. Oh no, he's not. He's starting off. Sorry, I was looking down there and I seen a comment just came in there from John saying, "Hey guys, Matthew is his son, so good luck, son." Yep, welcome along, John, and yeah, good luck. Also, Matthew sitting in 4th there, nice lap, 108.9.
And Bugatti bailing out again, not invalidated, but not satisfied as Josh McGill starts his next attempt. But before we see the end of that attempt, we'll see the ending of Proddy's lap as he comes through Magello towards Young Cow. Down the hill we go. And just sliding slightly through Young Cow. Driver's struggling to have the grip at apex speed through that final corner, or the final braking zone. I can keep saying the final corner because it really kind of is, especially in Formula One. Where's it going to put Prodigy on provisional first place?
108.2. Nicely done there. He's ducking into the pits there. So Sean Marcus on a note up, and Ross, they're just in second 2 now.
Yeah, we've got Josh McGill about to finish his next attempt. Driver that's leading the championship. I think he's bailed out, actually. It's the light flashing. No, he's going for it. So I think the charge has started on that battery. The driver leading the championship goes second fastest. And he also, as I said last week in the interviews, hopefully we'll have some tonight as well, he has won every race he's attended so far this season. So he's a force to be reckoned with this evening.
Should be in the Red Bull. Let's see Bob Ross coming to the line now. To time 108.179.
I think we'll see the 107s this evening.
I'm thinking the same, to be honest. Short Marcus finished his lap as well, 109. I think. Oh no, he's going for it now. Sorry. Ross as well. Seen a little bit of traffic there from, I think it's Chuck and Paul Jones Jr. just coming out of the pits there for both Ross and Short Marcus. Short Marcus just coming into turn 9 now. RTG seems to be happy with his time. Coming into the final braking zone now, making sure not to touch the grass on the right hand side on entry. Using up as much of that track as possible. Now, final stretch to the line, DRS wide open. Getting the max speed out of that car, just draining as much of that battery as he can. 108.6, that puts him in 4th place. Ross crosses the line also, 108.9, just right behind Short Marcus there, in 6th. So it'll be Lewis up next, he's just coming into sector 2 now, but he's down 3/10 on his time. Chuck is up 3/10 on his time going through sector 1. So he could be looking at improving if he keeps up the pace.
So who do we have up firstly? It's Lewis, isn't it, in the Red Bull? We've got a Mercedes, I think, behind... Oh, no, it's an Aston Martin and Matty Jones. He's also on a time lap.
Lewis is on no lap.
Oh, sorry, yeah. He's just started. But Matty Jones isn't. Unfortunately, he hasn't got close enough to get that toe. They're all sticking to the left-hand side before they get to the start-finish. Ascend to the line, and he ascends to 5th place with a 108.617. Chuck crosses the line with a 108.5, still very close in that top 10 battle. The cut-off at the moment, Lee, is a 18.9, so we're getting close to both of our predictions, actually.
Yeah, that's seeming like that. Oh, there we go, we're getting further and further now. We've only got Bugatti Sloan and Ross.
As Matthew is coming across the line now, sure John's going to be cheering for him. Where's he going to put him? 9th. He's not safe as of yet. He's got just over 1 minute to go, and he's already backed out, so I think that's going to be the end, because if he wanted to go again, Lee, he was going to have to really put the hammer down for a cool down lap. Wouldn't be much of a cool down lap, but Oh, it's Lewis making a big mistake, and he's now out in frustration, clashes against the wall for another measure. I think he did that by himself. He retires from qualifying in a really dangerous place, Lee.
I was just hoping that that Ferrari wasn't on a lap, Chuck. So Matty Jones retiring at 108.616. We've got Ross. Oh, and he invalidates on the final stretch to the line.
Sorry, Phil crossed the line first, went 12. Said Ross is out as well. Phil is going to be out. The two drivers at risk are Aki and Ginge. We're on board with Aki right now. The checker flag falls, and he only goes 13th, so he's also going to be out. Bugatti, the only driver I think at risk now of being out in qualifying. He's down. He's in the pit lane now. So what's Ginge going to be able to do? Struggling with the car through turn 9 as he goes through turn 10 and now through 11 of Mugello. On the brakes for young Cal, misses the apex a little bit, but it might get the car straightened up a little bit quicker. That means he'll have better straight line speed all the way down the straight as the DRS opens, and towards the line he comes. At the moment it's a 1:08.8 the cut off. It's a 1:08.7 the cut off. Ginge gets through, and Lee predicted right. Maybe we should have put a little bet on that.
Genius. Oh, we've seen put healthy comments to come in there just as we were watching the end of the qualifying too there. Lee Craig there saying that Matty is going to need luck there. Nah, he's a good driver. We've got Simon saying, hey man, Johnson's a very good driver, he drives F1 a lot. Well done, Matthew. Yep, well done to him, managing to get through into the final of the 3 qualifying sessions, coming in the top 10 there. We're just waiting on, I think it's Phil, getting wheeled back into the garage here, and then we'll be commencing with the standings here. So the final order for the second of the 3 qualifying sessions, we've got Bob Ross in first, Prodigy second, then we've got Josh McGill, Paul Jones Jr., Chuckle, Short Marcus, Matty Jones, then Matthew, then Ginge. And then starting and being eliminated is Bugatti Slovan in 11th, Ross G in 12th, Phil in 13th, Aki in 14th, and Lewis G in 15th. So they will be starting in their respective positions on the grid come the race. And we've only seen a gap of 6/10 there between the top 10 anyway.
So as we go into Q3, the final session of the afternoon, we get set and ready to go. 10 drivers, 12 minutes, a pole position up for grabs, an extra point up for grabs. It's game on, I think.
Yep, certainly. Who's going to be the one to press the button first? Just waiting to see if there's going to be any activity. Seeing activity there from Matty Jones, or is it Prodigy? That's Matty Jones first out of the box.
One of the usual suspects to come out first.
Yep, I think that could be Josh McGill. Yep, Josh McGill just in the pegs now.
Yeah, well, it has to be the only Alpine in Q3. We've got 2 AlphaTauris in Q3. We've got 2 Ferraris in Q3, and that's it. And 2 Aston Martins as well. Got a sole McLaren, a solo Alfa Romeo, and a solo Mercedes and Alpine, as you can see with Josh McGill right now, as he makes his way around this 2.6 mile circuit to start his first of 2 flying lap attempts for that pole position. But last week it was Matthew that took it. Is he going to be able to take it again, or is someone like Josh McGill, who's leading that championship, is he going to be able to get up onto that top spot, the most important position for the start of this 35 lap race that will be coming up in about 15 minutes time? And just a little note. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, sorry, just a little note as well. Formation lap is still off. We tried it on Monday, but we still had issues. So we're still going to have that little bit of a wait for drivers to sort out their strategies, tyres, what have you. And then we'll get straight into the race. No formation lap for the foreseeable future.
That's disappointing. Hopefully they manage to fix it soon. See, Mike Jones are getting a little bit of traffic there from short Marcus. Just to get out of the way. I think that's an Alpha Tellurium. Bob, what is that? No. Paul Jones. So, Matty Jones coming out of the final braking zone. It's just full throttle here to the start finish line. DRS wide open, just in that track as much as possible. Comes across the line at 108.9. Now, if we're going off of Q2, we're certainly going to have to get a better lap in. As you see Josh McGill doing that with the 108.497. Let's see who's going to be up next.
Short Marcus. Oh no, sorry, he's just starting an attempt.
Matthew.
And it will be Matthew next, where I'm sure John will be watching intently, eagerly to see if he can get onto that provisional pole, and he does with a 108.4, but we said we might see a 107 this afternoon. We're almost there with Bob Ross snatching that provisional pole away from the Ferrari driver. The number 3 Alpha Tauri, as I said at the start of the stream, not Daniel Ricciardo, Bob Ross, and he's on provisional pole.
I'm just trying to see Prodigy, he's invalidated. I think the next one up is going to be Shuckle.
It is indeed.
Just came out with final, well, through corner really at this track. DRS is wide open. Two time he's going to get a 108.453. It puts him into second place. Seen quite a small gap there between second and fifth now. As you see Paul Jones slotting right in between with the 108.471. Who's going to be next across the line? It's going to be the Mercedes man of
It was Short Marcus first. It was Short Marcus who did a 108.7, and then as I said, Ginge doing a 114. I think he did a cool down lap as he goes through Curva de Sol and down the Retta Raposta towards Descida de Lago. Always Prodigy right on the limit there through turn 10 as we cut to an off-board shot of him as he goes through the left-hander of Mugello majestically, and now through the final corner. No sliding from the rear end of that Aston Martin, and full throttle to the line. He may as well complete it. I think he's made a mistake, but potentially a good idea to get a banker lap in. He decides against it, goes into the pit lane. So the only man left, Lee, is Ginge.
Yep. Seems to be just coming out of a final corner. Well, you can call it anyway. It's not a final corner, but final braking zone. Final stretch to the line. DRS open. See what time he's going to put on the board. Who's 8th is 108.9.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
What is? So I think this is just the time where everybody will be coming back into the pits and just chilling out for a wee minute and waiting until the final few moments and to get their lap in. Yep, I agree totally, John. It was a good lap. Hope you see Ginge there just limping back home to the pits. We see Bob Ross going out again. He's trying to drain as much of that fuel as he can. Seems to be over by a wee bit, eh? So, Bob Ross here. Starting his lap, he's just came out of Young Cow there. Just hitting that DRS line there. Welcome back there. Just on board with Bob Ross there, who's just starting his lap.
Yeah, I can
He
see.
seemed to come out when it was the calm of the storm, so to speak. So, see if the clear track is going to be able to help him out as he's only got Prodigy out there on the lap.
He's just down in his time slightly, but for me, personal experience, being slightly down in my first sector, it just means that I'm just going to give it absolutely everything through the final two, because I'm already at a loss. So,
I mean, the thing is, if you wreck the car right now, it's not going to matter as much. So it's just pretty much balls to the wall, and just hope you didn't end up putting it into a wall.
as he's almost a tenth faster through the second sector, so by my simple maths, he's half a tenth up on his lap right now.
Did that hurt him getting on that curve there?
It didn't. He went faster, but not fast enough to get in the 107s, 108.016. Oh, so close.
I would think he was. But I think that just unsettled the car. It was quite a high, crest anyway on the curb. So I think it could have been possible for him to get into the 107s, but not anymore, as he's going to have to get back to the pits with that fuel. Prodigy, on the other hand, he's just coming up to the finish line to put in his first lap after his first proper lap after he messed up his lap, but he puts in a 108.075.
And now we've got Matty Jones out on the track, and with only just over 2 minutes to go, Lee, this is just going to be an absolute traffic jam now. I think when they all come out the pits, they're all going to come out at once. It's only Paul Jones that has come out, and we're just waiting on Chuckle, Matthew, Chuck, Josh McGill. They're all just coming out of the pits now. They're leaving it right to the last moment. But are they all going to get to the line, Lee? Because they're all going to have to queue up in an orderly fashion. So I potentially might see, like we do in real life, some people just trying to skip, barge into the queue.
Skip the queue.
Yeah. Very un-British to skip the queue.
Oh yeah, certainly. So, who's going to be up first? Paul Jones Jr. Oh, Prodigy thinking that's enough, he can't get another lap in, so it's going to be one and done for him.
Hold on a minute, Liz. Matty Jones called this absolutely perfectly. He's got he's got Short Marcus just ahead of him in that McLaren. He's going to be getting an absolutely mega tow, and I think Chuck is spun out as he goes to the line. He just goes 7th with a 108.5.
Chuck there spun out at turn 3. Turn 2, sorry. And it just...
So Paul Jones rounding Young Cal, the final braking zone. He's 3/10 up. He's going to be very close to that provisional pole time as he goes towards the line. Oh, 108 dead again. That's 3 of them that have done a 108 dead. Chuckle, the next driver. He's 2/10 up. He's doing Bella.
Well, it's not going to be enough to improve his position.
No, not yet. But whether he got a good launch out of Young Cal, that will determine. No, he did go faster, but he stays 4th fastest. Short Marcus up next. Is he going to put it onto provisional pole? No, go second. Another driver, 4 of them in the 108Z. 108.0s. Matthew goes 6th. He's not going to be able to get on pole. Chuck is out as well. That's the end of qualifying. Bob Ross is on pole with a 108.016. 5 of them in the 108.0s. And there's only 2/10 between the top 7 in Q3.
There's 6 hundredths of a second between 1st and 5th.
I will say that's probably the closest qualifying we've seen in Q3.
Yeah, definitely. That's madness. So that is the end of qualifying, the third of 3 qualifying sessions. And now we have determined the final top 10. So we've got Bob Ross on pole position with that 108.015. Short Marcus will be joining them on the front row in 2nd. And we've got Josh McGill, and then Paul Jones Jr., Prodigy, Matthew, Chuckle, Ginge, Matty Jones, and Chuck. So moving on to the race, as that brings a close to qualifying.
So just to reiterate, we won't have a formation lap. We'll have a minute or two respite before the start of the race, and we'll get straight underway. As soon as we're into the lobby itself, like once we get the off-board shots, we'll be underway after those 5 red lights. Looking pretty cloudy compared to qualifying now. Technically, in terms of game time, we've moved on to another day, so it would be different weather conditions. And it is different weather conditions, a bit more cloudy, like we've been seeing in the UK the last few weeks. Whoever does live in the UK, we've had a terrible July, start of August. Hopefully going to be getting better from now on. As I said, down in the south of England, it's been a much nicer day today, much more like it was in qualifying. But is there a chance of rain? Hopefully not today. We've seen a couple, obviously that race in Canada and round 1, that was quite interesting with the tyre strategies. We had something quite similar on Monday as well with Spain as well. There was some rain in that one as well. But this could go any direction now in terms of weather with the cloud cover we've got. As I said, 19 drivers. I'll have a quick look at the order of the start of the race and their tyres. Everyone on medium and hards at the moment, Lee. No one opting for that soft tyre, even outside the top 10, who would have at least had 1 fresh set remaining.
Yeah, I would have expected maybe at least 1 person to go. And
got a couple. Bob Ross on the softs on pole position. Chuck in 10th on the soft tyres, and that's it for the time being.
No, if there's no safety car, then that could provide quite good for him if he's able to get away and pull away from the pack, and he'll have that clean air. We've got Chuck as well on the softs. And we see Elgin, Hammer and Simpson Teachman on the hard, same with Matty Jones, Matthew, and everyone else on mediums. So only 2 people going and opting for the softs. I think it's like 5 people on the hards.
And then we've got
Oh, Chuckle. I think Chuckle opting for the softs possible as well.
Well, we did know in times gone by. We'll talk about it in a minute. 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And we are away for the Wednesday tier in Brazil. And we've got Matthew going... we've just got a wrong order going on here. Bob is... we've got ghosting going on for some unknown reason. And now, I'm not sure if we're going to have a restart here, Lee, because everyone seems to be ghosting. Short Marcus moving up.
2 already.
Yeah, this is strange. And Bob Ross going wide there. It means Short Marcus takes the lead. Sorry about the chaotic start. And then we've got lap 1 instead. Lap 1 ghosting on. We've got drivers in the background towards Ferragula. At Ferragula, we've got Ross G, the Scotsman, around at turn number 6 and 7. And now, Lee, he's beached on the grass.
Oh.
And we're not allowed to reset in RTG, so that could be the end of his race unless he gets going. Is he going to try reverse gear? See if he can get a bit of movement. He'll turn the car into front wheel drive. No, he's been disqualified. That's the end of his race. And I have to say, Lee...
Matty Jones. Matty Jones was around there.
Matthew, Bob and Proddy all going for that 1 position into turn 1. Proddy on the inside, and we've got Matthew going around the outside, inside. And that means Matthew is up into 4th place as we go down the Retro Aposta down to the Decida Lago. We've got Prodigy up the inside trying to make up places, mediums versus hards, as he goes through the second part of the Decida Lago, and then we go into Ferragula, and he's up into 4th place.
But wait a minute, we've got a battle here for 7th place here. We're seeing around turns 6 and 7 there, Chuck and Bob Ross there. Chuck was on the outside there and Bob Ross was on the inside there, going side by side. And of course Chuck not managing to get that position off Bob Ross after he's had quite a terrible start.
Apologies for Matthew and Paul Jones. I don't know if Lee's got the same thing, saying they're minus 1 minute 11 seconds. That hopefully will get itself corrected as Paul Jones moves up into 5th place. And then we go on to lap 3. It's happened. Chuck going up the inside of Bob Ross. Bob Ross now trying to go at the inside. There's a big old scrap going on, but towards the front, as we see Chuckle, having the DRS as well as Josh McGill, goes from the outside to the inside, on the inside for Decida Lago, goes off the track. There's a Max Verstappen line there and has to give the place back.
Yeah, that was...
All the 2 Hasses going side by side into Ferragula. Bugatti up the inside, moves up into 10th place.
I just started picturing Gunther there, just screaming at him there. But wait, Bob Ross and Ginge. Bob Ross trying to get that position back from Ginge in the Mercedes.
Yeah, the man that started on pole is now coming to the end on soft. Started on poles, coming to the end of the 3rd lap, and he's in 9th place. Got to try and make up some places. We've got DRS for the first time down this start-finish straight as we climb up to the Senna S. Just ahead, we've got the 2 Ferraris switching places. Chuck moving up the inside of Matthew and moves up into 6th place. And he's got a bit of a charge to get on to catch up to the top 5, who are all within DRS in each other. And there's a little bit of a gap between 5th and 6th.
Oh, Elgin.
Oh, hey, Elliot retired on lap 4 in the pits. We started with 19, we're down to 17 on lap 4. And Bob Ross is having an absolutely terrible start to his RTG career and now down in 15th place.
After having such a incredible qualifying session to that, it's yeah, you're not going to be happy. So he's going to have to try and compose himself and try and pull it back. But now Cameron Sims is closing in on him. This soft will be kind of fried a wee bit, eh? Hope to see some swapping of places.
Chuckle losing the place, Prodigy moving up onto the podium, but Chuckle going to have the DRS back as there's 2 activation zones on this circuit.
And now that just got past Short Marcus.
And then Chuckle gets back past Prodigy into Decido Lago.
Side by sides, Lewis and Lewis and Bugatti. Lewis just litter on the brakes there, gets a bit of a wobble. They're coming out with turn 4 there, just on the curb on the exit. And he manages to steal that 10th position off of the Haas Bugatti Sloven there.
And Josh McGill just trying to stretch his legs, the driver who's leading the championship. Just having a good old duel at the moment with our Monday night commentator on LGE. And Prodigy now getting back past Chuckle in the same place he did the lap previous.
Okay, off the track there at Young Cow. Now he's been overtaken by Cameron.
But for whatever reason, that Alfa Romeo having some serious straight line speed.
So we look at the positions gained in the first 6 laps. We've seen Clay the Monkey up 7 places. So he's been managing to keep it nice and consistent. We've seen Matthew right on the tail of Chuck here. And it's like he's practically pushing him along. But of course he's not wanting to compromise the position of that as he's got Ginger right behind.
Yeah, and we're seeing a team rivalry today. We've seen in the last, almost, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, almost 10 years now, Ferrari and Mercedes on the odd season, especially in 2017 and 18, 19 as well. The Ferraris and the Mercedes were fighting for championships. And now they're fighting for 6th place.
Yep, also thought Chuck has absolutely squeezed the utter life out of that battery.
You can already see it's cost him.
Yeah, swapping places already, so now he's going to have to play support now and hold off the advancing Mercedes behind him in 8th and 9th and try and protect his Ferrari counterpart ahead.
Yeah, the good old-fashioned rear gunner trying to help out his teammate. Or is he going to want to help out? Is he going to want that 6th position?
Well, I wouldn't say it'd be wise for them to battle. And
no, not really.
Moment, I've seen Lewis catching right up. He's got within that DRS range. Is Bugatti Sloven going to be within that DRS range? I believe he is. So
it's very close, actually. Maybe not. Oh no, I think he was actually. Yes, he was. The detection points quite early on in the lap, on the straight. Sorry.
So we've seen a wee DRS train here from 6th to 11th. Well, guys just fell out of that range now. So it's back down to these 5 guys, the 2 Mercedes and Lewis in the Red Bull.
So now we're seeing, up until this year, well, and maybe 2020 being the other odd one out. But overall, since the hybrid era, Lee, these have been the top 3 teams in recent years in Formula One, and they're all fighting in RTG this evening for still quite a decent amount of points as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the 2 teammates can do against the lone Red Bull. And the lone Red Bull this evening actually hasn't got his teammate who hasn't attended this evening, as we had 19 drivers. So he's the lone man this evening. Let's see what he can do. Before we get to the DRS straight, we've got drivers fighting for positions in this mid-pack. Is Lewis now trying to seize on that position? Is he going to do a Fernando Alonso Lee? Is he going to go up the inside of 2 of them? It looks like he is. Up the inside, going to have the outside, so he's going to have the momentum, but he has to go off the track. He was squeezed wide. It means Ginge is going to try and go around the outside of the curve of the Souls, go down the rest of Raposta. Ginge having to bail out, abort there, and went off the track. Lewis getting absolutely feisty.
And all this action up ahead is just allowed the Haas of Bugatti Sloven to catch up. Oh, I think Aki could be looking at the vulnerable Teachman here, going into turn 6 here. Oh, Teachman just gets across to the left-hand side just enough there to counteract the advancing Alfa Romeo behind him. You see, Teachman has been having some problems, it seems, just getting, maintaining the traction throughout the corners.
One thing we haven't spoke about for a little while, Lee, because there hasn't been anything to report just yet, but the top 2 still within 1 second. So Short Marcus having that DRS advantage, but it's not been enough of an advantage to look at making up that place and getting into that coveted first place. As Aki moves up into 12th now. Oh, his Teachman's round and into the wall at Curva de Sol, turn 3.
Oh, no front wing for him.
And a VSC deployed. So it's stabilise the race. No safety car will come.
Do you think we could see Choco into the pits?
I mean, this is an opportunity that's almost been gifted to him. We usually see a VSC for about a lap, don't we, on average now?
Somewhere about that, yeah.
So as I was saying, it's neutralised the race. The VSC, no safety car is out. They've got to stick to a delta. They've got a estimated time of arrival at certain points of the circuit. They've got to keep 2 in Short Marcus pits to try and go for the undercut and yet chuckle in as well. And a wise decision from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Oh, Chuck as well on the softs. You can see Bob Ross in as well.
We're still waiting and waiting. Short Marcus coming out of the pits. He's timed this to absolute perfection. He's had that whole VSC to pit. He's gone on to the hards. Do you think that's for to the end?
Bob Ross stayed out on them 10-lap old softs.
And DRS enabled. Green flags are flying, and we're back underway again. This Chuckle just comes out of the pits. It timed it well for himself as well.
They got up to first place here.
Oh, Matthews round at Ferragula towards turn 8.
Now, did you catch that?
I didn't know, unfortunately. Oh, is he spinning again? Tyres are red hot. Cutting across turn 8. And the 2 Alfa Romeos now very, very close together. I think Aki stayed out, so I'm surprised he's not let Chuckle go through. Maybe that's not in that man's prerogative as we come out of Young Cal. And now he gets past and gets very much on the curve. Unsettled the car there, actually, going very close to the wall on the outside.
Yeah, I think he moved out the way enough to give him the DRS.
Someone else who has the DRS is Bugatti going up the inside at Decido Lago. moves up into 6th.
2 seconds.
No problem. Short markers as well. Obviously, Pitt, he was in 2nd. He's now down in 8th place. But he has got clean air ahead of him. And he will be closing that gap to Josh McGill. Those tyres 12 laps old for the Alpine driver in the lead. And they will certainly be starting to drop off now, where these hard tyres, even though they've got the least amount of grip out of the 3 tyres in that Pirelli range, he's going to have more grip than those used medium tyres. And I said, with that clean air ahead of him, he's not got to worry about any overtaking on track just yet. But someone who is going an overtake on track is the Scotsman of Lewis. Moves up on Clay the Monkey. He's up into 4th place before they get on the brakes for the first corner at the Sunner S. And someone else trying to get past is Chuck, moving up on Bob, who's stayed out on the soft tyres. He's going to try and go for a one stop, go to about lap 16, 17, go on the hards or the mediums. That's kind of his best option now. So Lewis not being able to get away just yet from the Mercedes of Clay the Monkey, staying within DRS, and he looks like he's going to have the DRS back at Lewis, and hopefully he's going to have an attempt to get back past and up into 4th place at the same place that Lewis did the lap before. Is Chuckle and Bugatti looking like he's made a bit of an error there. It means Short Marcus is going to be hot on his heels. And Aki is round. Just trying to get himself back underway. We're going to see another VSC now. I think he's got himself underway in time. But just some mistakes starting to come into play now. As Matthew Jones gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Are you back with us, Lee? Not just yet, but Short Marcus going up the inside of Ferragula. What a great move from the McLaren driver. Of course, when we were last here at Brazil, we saw so many moves around the outside here. I think that was in the Thursday tier, I believe. It was a little while ago now, as we go into Young Cal with Short Marcus, with Ginge just ahead of him, looking like he's struggling on the medium tyre, used medium tyre for that Mercedes. Before we even get to the DRS line, he's alongside, and surely he's just going to breeze past with that extra 15, 16 kilometres an hour in straight line speed, about 10 miles an hour in straight line speed as we hit the brakes for turn 1. He's up into 6th place. Are you back with us, Lee? Not just yet. I'm sure he'll be with us in a few moments. As Cameron has spun out of Young Cow, where drivers have been struggling so far in this race, as we're getting close to half distance. So when is Josh McGill going to pit? It could be this lap. He may go for the hard tyres, as we've got Lee back with us now. As we go to the pit lane, through the pit lane entry, Josh McGill decides to do another tour of this Interlagos circuit.
Similar Prodigy, Jones, Lewis. Lewis and Clay swapping places there. Clay managing to use that DRS effectively.
And Ginge in the pits.
Let's see, is Lewis going to be able to get sufficiently up enough behind him to take that 4th position back? I don't think he is. So he's going to have to settle for that 5th place for now.
And Chuck moving up a place, moving past his teammates. Of course, in 2019, we saw contact between the two Ferraris of Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc, and no contact to speak of in RTG this evening between the two Ferraris.
So I'm having a look at the tyre strategy, so we'll see who's pit and who hasn't. So we've seen Cameron Sims, Phil, Matthew, Bugatti and the top 5 still having pit.
And Short Marcus is 12 seconds behind the leader now, so he's comfortably going to take the lead at this point, Lee.
Yep, all he has to do is keep it smooth and steady. That's all he has to do. Oh, we've seen Clay and Lewis swapping places against him with Chuckle and Bugatti.
Yellow flag, sector 2, McLaren of Teichmann is round. He started 20th, he's down in 17th and last now.
Oh, but there we go. Cameron there having a wee wobble out of turn 8 and struggling on them hard compound tyres there. So, Phil into the pits now. Ginge moving up into 11th.
Bob Ross now on the medium tyres. Is he going for a 1-stop or a 2-stop? The man that started on pole. He still has that extra point that he's going to have at the end of the race. But he's down in 12th at the moment. As we go.
They're going medium soft.
Do you think Josh McGill's going on and trying to go for the soft?
Yep.
We're going to have to get to about lap 2021 for that to be possible. As Paul Jones finally gets past Prodigy for second place, and Lewis again getting past Clay the Monkeys. These two have been switching places every lap for the last 3 or 4 laps. But is Clay going to try and get back past again? As I said, another detection point, a second activation zone. He's going around the outside of Deciso Largo and he gets past.
Nicely done from him. So looking further back. So all calm down quite a bit. Seen Chuck right close to the back of Bugatti, who's on them old medium compound tyres. Standing the lap so they're really hurting them right now. And oh, see, Josh McGill's managing to handle them quite nicely, but
Josh McGill goes again. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Teichmann and Cameron Sims. No, Teichmann and Aki, sorry. Aki giving a little bit of a squeeze on the inside there of turn 4.
Oh, sorry, Lee. Side by side between the Red Bull and the Mercedes through the Senna S onto the Curva de Sol. Down the Retroposta we go. Both rear lights flashing, but the DRS is enabled for Clay the Monkey in that Merc, and he goes up the inside of Lewis again. And these two have been putting on a show.
Yeah, they are certainly, and see Lewis is having a wee look up the inside again of turn 6 and 7, coming into turn 8, who's going to be getting the better line? Lewis, they're still side by side going around turn 8, Clay is on the inside, Lewis on the outside, and Clay manages to make sure he gets that 4th position. Lewis almost going into the back of him there, as they're just coming into the exit of sector 2 now. You can see Short Marcus just close behind on them fresh hard tyres.
Very close.
Yellow flag.
Yeah, that was in the
went...
pits. Tej
Yeah, see Short Marcus.
Pitted. Is he going to go for 2 here, Lee? I think he is. We're going 3 wide towards the Senna S, and Short Marcus 2 places in 1 corner. This is what that...
Clay's not saying no.
No, maybe not.
He's battling there. He's going to have that inside line, is he not?
I feel a big rivalry coming on here as they both have the DRS, so Clay not having an advantage this time to get back past it. Deciso Largo, but Short Marcus on the charge, and Josh McGill, I think this might be the lappy pits if he's going to go for those soft tyres, but he's got a long way to catch back up, and the way we're going at the moment, Lee, if he stays out a few more laps, short Marcus, obviously he's not going to know as much as obviously we know, but he could almost afford to pit again.
Yeah, essentially. Oh, you're flagging sector 2, who'd that be? That'd be Chuck, around at the exit of turn 9. Oh, we see Matthew at turn...
Oh, he's on the grass at turn 10. Gets back on the black stuff, but has fallen down to 10th place, and now got Ginge coming up quite quickly on his gearbox, and he's going to have the DRS as well.
Sorry, Clay the Monkey here, looking to take back that 5th position. And there we go, he gets past the Red Bull with the aid of the DRS. Lewis looking for every opportunity he can to pass that Mercedes again. Matthew's retired. Matthew is retired. I was gonna say the two Ferraris came in at the same point. That was not a good strategy call, but one of the two has retired. That is unfortunate after all having such. Well, they were having a good race up until then. But
Josh McGill going again.
the tyres must be screaming.
And now Paul Jones and Prodigy into the pit, so Josh McGill has got to come in this lap to respond.
Oh, Lewis 5-second time penalty, so they're all into the pits, and now Clay the Monkey stays out still.
Going to try the overcut.
He's going to have to go for it, but then again, they're on fresh, soft tyres, and the mediums have went 21 laps now. I think, yep, Bugatti, Clay and Josh McGill are the only ones still to pit, all on medium compound tyres from the start of this race. See Paul Jones eyeing up that 6th place, and he just makes that look easy. Bugatti Sullivan basically getting out the way of him.
Safety car.
Safety car.
Josh
McGill is a genius in this case. Like,
oh wow, yeah, he's absolutely been gifted this. But Shawn Marcus is going to pit as well. He's going to pit. Why wouldn't he pit?
You're right. Oh, Lewis.
Oh no, it's gone bad to worse for Lewis on laps 21 and 2.
And he's just retired on track.
Oh dear. But yeah, short Marcus in the pits as well. Going to go onto the soft tyres. Surely, yes, he does. But Josh McGill had the racing gods on his side, I think, this evening.
Yeah, certainly.
And Prodigy going... Oh, this is going to be a fight between Prodigy and Short Marcus. I think Prodigy's going to come out on top here. Short Marcus comes out in 3rd. But if I was Short Marcus, I wouldn't feel too bad about this. I mean, it's not probably what he wanted, what he planned, but at least we're all bunched up. Yeah, still up there, 3rd place on a new set of soft tyres. These guys are just going to have to protect them as much as they can under this safety car.
Yeah. So, everybody here, whole 13 that are left, pit for the soft tyres, except from Ginge, who's out of softs, I believe, and Bob Ross. So they're going to be regretting that decision.
I actually think a lot of them are going on to use softs anyway, actually. Oh, no, maybe not. They actually got fresh ones. A lot of them got fresh ones, actually.
I think Prodigy and Paul Jones, possibly.
No, they're all fresh. So they obviously saved themselves a set.
No, because I think they'd messed a lot up once. Both of them, remember, in qualifying, right. So they would have gotten fresh tyres, because it just would have been invalidated. Into the pits, fresh tyres, out again, pretty much. So, Welcome along, everyone who's watching. We're on lap 24, and we've got a safety car. Couple of people on the medium compound tyres. Ginger, Bob Ross, and Aki. Josh McGill managing to put in a stellar performance up to now. Managing to hold off that first place walkout with the aid of safety car. Sean Marcus there, though. In the meantime, if things would have went the way they were going, he would have been in the top spot on the hard tyres. And Josh McGill would have been having to be on the charge again. But now, everything's equalised. And
I think we'll get going on lap 26, I think. So we'll have 11 laps. Is my maths right? 11 laps?
I think so.
Yeah, 11 laps. And so ending up somewhat having a bit of a sprint. Some drivers going on to the mediums, opting for that rather than a used set of softs. It'll play good for them at the end if they can keep up with the drivers on the soft. Maybe they're going to have to lasso a rope around some of those drivers on soft tyres.
I'm wondering if maybe Aki may be trying to pull a fast one here, and if he's just using his medium tyres just to catch up, or if he is actually out of tyres. I'll go and check 2 seconds. So he didn't make it through to Q3, so whether he had a fresh set there or not, 2 stops. Oh, no. Thank God.
He stays out. So as I said, we'll get started on lap 26. That's pretty much for sure now, as no one else is going into the pits. And as Lee said a moment ago, welcome along everyone who's just joined us. A little recap. Bob Ross, who's in 9th place, started on pole. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, didn't have the best of starts on the soft tyre. We've had a big battle between Clay the Monkey and Lewis, who is also now retired. He got a drive-through penalty, so he decided to opt out the rest of this race. Josh McGill has been leading for quite some time, pretty much the majority of the race. He looked like he was about to pit for the softs. He would have gone behind Short Marcus, who he was fighting with for that lead. He pit earlier on the hard tyres, but as we said a moment ago, the racing gods have been on Josh McGill's side. The safety car came out, he came into the pit, so he kept his first place, and now it's a top 3, as you can see, of Josh, Prodigy and Short Marcus. And I think we're going to get the call the safety car's going to be in.
Yep, I'll just be here just before Young Cow. So coming to sector 3 now, there we go. Hearing the notification from the race control safety car in this lap. So Josh McGill's going to have to keep a constant pace, as he's going to be leading the restart once that safety car reaches the pit lane.
And of course sorry, go on.
And you go.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, he has the advantage of being able to weave left and right, keeping those tyres warm, because he knows when he's going to go. Prodigy behind him doesn't, so he hasn't got that advantage, and he goes now, and we're back underway, and we'll get racing as we cross the start finish. And Short Marcus looking like he's getting a fantastic launch off that restart, and not close enough though to get past into turn 1 as we go through the Center S, and now through turn 3, the Curva de Sol. And we're on to the Retta Reposta as Prodigy goes defensive, and another car, Paul Jones in that Alpha Tauri, does as well. As we go slightly further back, everyone holding position so far. No one been able to get a run into turn 1 or turn 4. But his Short Marcus going to have a run into turn 8 as he's getting closer and closer to the back of that Aston Martin.
Yeah, we've seen everyone's keeping it nice and clean here.
Well, we're at sort of the end game of the race now. We're getting into the latter stages. Drivers are going to be wanting to get points, but also want to make up places. So it's whether you want to it's that fine balance of protecting tyres, protecting your car, but being aggressive to get those overtakes done, as Josh McGill sets a new fastest lap of 109.4 as Clay the Monkey dives to the inside at the centre S, uses a huge amount of curb, gets a bit unstable and has to stay in 5th place. And the man on pole in the race has had an absolute shocker so far. As Short Marcus trying to go around the outside. Decido Largo still on the outside as we go towards Ferragula. He gets the exit he needs and desires and moves up into 2nd place.
Nicely done there from the McLaren of Short Marcus. 2 seconds.
As Paul Jones, we're riding on board with him now as we go into Young Cal, the final braking zone of the lap, and then as I said, we've got this uphill ascent, pedal to the metal towards turn 1. We'll have DRS enabled on this lap, and we'll get it for the first time down the Retta Riposta, the back straight on this track, the first of the 2 DRS straights. And Short Marcus is going to have the DRS on the leader of Josh McGill.
Yeah, we was just seeing Matty Jones getting awfully closer to the back of Fulder going into turn 1 there. I was thinking he was going to possibly make a move, but Bob Ross dropping further down. Seems he's got a car that's great for a 1 lap sort of blast, but in race conditions, the car's not the best, it seems. Oh, you see him giving Aki a little bit of a left top there. Going into turn 8. So, could we see Short Marcus possibly going for that position anytime soon? Let's got the DRS to catch right up now.
And surely he's going to be saving battery as well as much as he can, because we're getting into that latter stage. And we usually see an RTG overtakes. Yeah, Paul Jones. And this is what I like about this circuit as well, Lee. We get the 2 DRS zones, so it's very tactical way you get the move done. And it looks like today, turn 1's not the place to get that move.
Yep, it's always better to get it at turn 4, but sometimes if you get the better run into going around turn 2. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate and I'm getting that body.
Yeah, it's the noise. We always get it in the final third. I think that's where it happens. And yeah, it's awful. As Short Marcus got very close in the first part of the 2nd sector. He's dropped back a little bit, but not too much. Not enough to have Josh McGill relax. He's still under pressure, and he's got another few cars behind that are going to be putting pressure on him as well. He can see those other 4 cars behind him as he's leading. You can see the a 5-car list on his screen right now, so he'll know how close those drivers are behind him, but he'll certainly know how close Short Marcus is. He's got the DRS again. I can't call this one, Lee, at the moment.
Yeah, it is really fair between them. Well, that's all happening. We're seeing Paul Jones and Shuckle battling it over that 5th place. Paul Jones is glued to the rear of Chuckle. It's like he's almost pushing him along. And yeah, he's not been able to make the move as well, going into turn 4 there. He could have done it going into turn 1, but it would have been a little bit of a dive, so he opted out of it. Possibly hoping to get the advantage going down into turn 4. As I'm thinking Short Marcus is going to do as well.
And Paul Jones moving up on Chuckle, the man that won in Austria a few weeks ago in round 2. And short Marcus closer than he has ever been at after the restart of the safety car. He looks up the inside, goes up the inside. He moves up into the lead, caught Josh McGill off guard. And as he went into turn 4, he moves up into first place. Game on for the lead.
Nicely done there from the McLaren one there. Now, all this battling between the top 4. Is this going to allow the AlphaTauri of Paul Jones and Chuckle and Bugatti to catch up soon with basically everybody else? So we're seeing basically 2 trains happening at the moment, and I'm finding it really hard to concentrate because of this thing. It's like a buzzing in my ear. But we're seeing that Josh McGill, he's going to be coming back at the McLaren, coming down the start-finish straight. He's got that DRS. He's got that advantage, and he's got it done before the braking zone of turn 1. Now, Short Marcus is going to be coming after him. Josh McGill there, it looked like he got a little bit off track there coming across turn 2. Short Marcus is going to have that DRS now, going into turn 4, exactly where he got him last lap. And is Prodigy going to possibly have a wee look at making a move? No, he's stinking steady.
But this is a 4-way fight for the lead. Josh McGill almost losing it there out of Ferragula before turn 8. And he keeps it in a straight line. But the pressure is getting to the Alpine man, the driver that's won, as I said, every race he's attended so far this season. Short Marcus not even winning a race as of yet, but could it change this evening as we go through Young Cal for the 32nd time this evening in this race? And as I said, a 4-way fight for the lead now, Lee. I don't know what's going to happen. All 4 are on soft tyres. With these 2 fighting out front, it brings the other 2 in, as it has done. And I got a feeling, Lee, the next couple of laps, the gloves are going to be off, the elbows are going to be out, and we're going to have a grandstand finish, I think.
Yeah, there's certainly I could see possibly a drag race to the figure. But look, Josh McGill's looking down the inside, and he's took a page out of Short Marcus's book, and he's got the move done on the inside of turn 4. So, Short Marcus done that down the past 2 laps. Now Josh McGill has got his payback and moved back up into that first place for the time being. Is Short Marcus going to have an answer back for that?
And
we'll find out on the next episode.
We will talk about driver of the day in a minute, but just to pull a name out the hat, Lee. Clay the Monkey in 4th place at the moment, started in 16th, having a tremendous race so far.
Yep, he's managed to get quite lucky with that, as he did start on the medium compound tyre, so him and Josh McGill managed to get that advantage, same as Prodigy, by staying out on them medium tyres until the end. When that safety car came out.
We've got 2 2/3 laps remaining, and as I said, I can't call the win here. We've got Josh McGill, Short Marcus, Prodigy and Clay the Monkey all fighting for the lead, and it is certainly getting a bit hot and bothered now for me, and I think for these drivers. The pressure is on. It's really turning into a bit of a pressure cooker now for these 4, and I think the last 2 laps are going to be the laps that we're really going to see drivers giving it their all, trying to make up places, trying to defend places as we go through Mugello towards Young Cal.
Yep, certainly. It has been a splendid race to watch. Oh, and Prodigy's round!
Oh, no!
No, he's going to have to be careful, as he could end up getting a reset to track.
A Short Marcus gets back past and up into the lead again. It's now from a 4-way fight to a 3-way fight for the lead as we go on to the penultimate lap and down the Retta Reposta for the penultimate time this evening. as I said, the audio is absolutely horrendous. Apologies for the sound quality.
Flick through them. That'll fix itself. Well, sometimes it does.
It's still really terrible. We'll do off-board shots as the sound isn't so bad. And as I said, gloves are off now in these final 2 laps. Prodigy has left the session. He's retired from the race. He may still be classed in the race, though, as he's retired with only 2 laps to go, as we've got 1.5 laps to go now. And as we're going through Mugello, and we're going to get DRS for the penultimate time down the start finish, but this is the last time that anyone can make a move into turn 1. Has Clay saved up any battery? He has. Now he's using it. They're all going to be using it. They've saved a little bit. As I said, Short Marcus finishing second 3 times in a row in the first 3 races. Then drop places for last week's race, as Paul Jones now getting past Chuckle as we go on to the Retta Aposta for the final time today. And I'm really sorry about the audio quality. Is Clay the Monkey going to try and snatch that second place? Oh, I'm so sorry about the audio. It's horrendous as we go through Decisa Lago and up towards Ferrajula. Short Marcus still leading the race. And it's about a second lead between the top 3 right now. And Short Marcus is certainly going to have adrenaline pumping through his body now, thinking he might get his first win in Wednesday this season. As we go up to Young Cow, the audio has got itself back to a better state as Short Marcus got a bit slidey through Young Cow, but I think it's going to be a drag to the line. But Short Marcus hasn't won this season, but he has now, and he wins the Brazilian Grand Prix with Josh McGill coming home in second place. Clay the Monkey finishes third, drag to the line, Bugatti gets it. 5th place, Matty Jones moves down as well as Phil moves to 9th place. And we're finished for the 5th round in Wednesday, and that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but it did look quite a monkey there. Certainly, I would agree. Driver of the day. I mean, what was he up 13 places? From 16th to 3rd. See Short Marcus there on the podium. Nicely done from him. Great strategy. And a little bit of luck there in the end as well. I would say Short Marcus there getting the win there. Josh McGill, P2. Clay the Monkey was in P3, our driver of the day. Also, Josh McGill getting that fastest lap of 109.447. Paul Jones in 4th, Bugatti in 5th. Chuckle came home in 6th. Ginge in 7th. Matty Jones in 8th. Phil in 9th. And 10th was Bob Ross. Unfortunately, not having the best of races. Aki in 11th. Prodigy in 12th. Although he did retire a couple of laps from the end. Chuck P didn't finish. Same with Lewis, Cameron, Matthew, Tiedemann, Elegant, and Ross. So, yeah, quite a few people that did not finish. This race was at 8.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of attrition today, yeah. So, yeah. Clay the Monkey, he would get our driver of the day, but he's a reserve, so the admins won't let us have that, so we've got to pick someone else.
Fair point.
Difficult one. So we'll wait for all the drivers to get in for their interviews. And as they're doing that, we'll have a think about driver of the day. May not announce it on stream. You might just have to wait till next week to find that out. So we've got 2 of the drivers in the commentary box now for their up-and-coming interviews. We'll just wait a few moments. Chaps, make sure that your audio's set to share on the stream so everyone is able to hear your interview.
I don't know if Clay's a reserve.
I think he is.
He
Yeah. So
probably won't join anyway, so I don't know whether you want to invite Paul.
yeah. So Lee, would you just put a comment out for Paul, if that's okay? Thanks very much. Right. So as we wait for Paul, he'll be the last one to interview anyway. So we'll go to our commentating colleague, Short Marcus. Well done on your first win of the season.
Thank you. I'm sweating. I think both me and Josh are sweating away at the moment. But yeah, what a race that was. It was nice to actually finally have a wheel-to-wheel battle right at the front of the field, and then yeah, pace felt good. I was struggling early part of qualifying, and made a couple of tweaks to the setup that I could do under part Ferme into Q3, and it worked a treat in the end. So yeah, happy with that one.
Yeah, we were super interested in the strategy as well. You piss under the VSC, is that right? Is my memory right?
Yes, yeah, I went early to go on the hards. I thought we just needed to do something a little bit different. Josh was running a lot more downforce than me. I was struggling to sort of keep with him in the last sector. I was really just clinging on to his DRS lap after lap. So it was only a matter of time before I dropped out of it. So I thought I'd just try something a bit different. I'm good at tyre management. I'm good at looking after my yards as well, getting good pace on it. So I thought I'd just try something new. And the last minute safety car, I knew I had a new set of softs, so I had them in the bag. Unfortunately, the safety car did come a little bit too early than I would have ideally liked, but didn't matter in the end. Thankfully.
No, it didn't. I was saying on the stream, obviously you'll probably watch it back at some point. Were you a bit disheartened about the safety car, or was it was it something maybe not you didn't want, but it didn't bother you too much?
Um, yeah, one of those. To be honest, I actually wasn't that disheartened. I guess overall because the tyres, I kind of did a bit of maths in my head with the hards, and I would have been about somewhere between 70 and 80% on the last lap tyre wear. So it was cutting it fine, and I know how quick Josh was. And although it was again a massive undercut on him, I didn't think it was going to be enough. I did feel like I was going to be very vulnerable at the end. Um, so the safety car coming out, I wasn't massively disappointed because it kind of gave me another opportunity to put it back on a level playing field. Would have been interesting to see how it went out. I think the only thing I was disappointed about was dropping behind Prodigy, but he had only used soft, so I managed to get the jump on him at the restart. But
Yeah,
I had to burn so much battery to do so; it was too quick.
yeah. So talking about mass, I think if that safety car hadn't have come out, Josh would have been about 16 seconds behind you, I think, because I'm obviously we'll talk to you in a minute, Josh, but obviously he was going longer, as you know, as
Yeah.
well, and I think going on to the softs at the end, so we'll talk to him about it in a minute, but that was going to be an interesting race from my point of view, seeing Josh trying to come back, but obviously it turned into something different. It was unlucky for Prodigy as well for spinning out, but it got very exciting with the four of you technically fighting for the lead with the last sort of 4 or 5 laps to go. It looked like it was very stressful.
Yeah, I was, Josh isn't stupid. He's a very intelligent racer, and so I was trying to get him to use his battery as much as I could while saving mine because they say I had to use a lot getting past Prod. I didn't know what Prod's pace was, and having been on used softs and I knew Josh was on new, I didn't want Josh to pull a gap and then I just wouldn't be able to breach that if I did get past Prod. So I had to burn my battery early, so I was quite happy sitting behind him for a little bit. And then it was just a case of trying to get in Josh's head a little bit and try and get him to burn his battery where he can and try and save it myself. But it was very crucial because he had a lot more downforce than me. For me, I wanted to be ahead on the final lap because if I was behind, I think he would have pulled too big a gap in the middle sector for me to get close going across the line, even with the powerful DRS. So I wanted to be ahead, have a bit of battery, and just try and hold it onto the line. That was always going through my mind.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, as I said on the stream, as you know yourself, of course, your first win of the season, obviously getting those 3 second place
Finally.
finishes in the first 3 races. So consistency's been key for you. There was 1 point between the two of you before this race started. It's going to be a bit of a bigger gap now, but there's certainly a fight going on between the two of you now. So I can't wait for it's Jeddah next week. So going from sort of a medium to fast paced circuit this week to a really fast circuit next week. So looking forward to that one. But anyway, congratulations, Marcus, on your first
Thank
win
you.
of the season. So, Josh, I got a new fact. I got a new fact for you, mate. You've been on the podium every race you've attended this season. Now you haven't kept at your 100% record of wins, unfortunately, my friend. But anyway, commiserations for your second place. It was so close to the end. It's so close all the way to the end, but you can't be too disappointed with second, or are you too competitive and second is last?
You know, the only reason I'm disappointed is because Jeddah is Marcus's absolute track. So that's not the best to lose the lead and have a bit of a gap, and me missing next week with that track coming up.
Oh
I remember
no.
that from F122. He's ridiculous around there. I mean, he is around most tracks, but especially Jeddah. But yeah, no, it was a good race. I said to Marcus like a minute ago, it was like old school F122 battle between us two, where it's just an absolute sweat fest for the whole race of being like a second apart. And I was interested by the strategy. I'm not sure what would have come out of top because the softs died quite fast.
Yeah.
But the hards would have been quite knackered at the end, so that would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting, but we equally got a very interesting finish anyway. And the two of you very respectful and hard racing as well. As I said in the commentating, it looked like the last couple of laps was going to be gloves off, elbows out, but it didn't really get like that, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was more tactical tonight. Normally we are quite hard, always fair, but hard with each other, whereas tonight was a bit more, I think, just playing the DRS and battery game, I think. A little bit of that because it's so powerful around Brazil. But yeah, it worked for him. I think, I can't remember who was in third behind me, but I was also conscious of them, so I think I bottled it a little bit on the last lap with them. Nearly gave second away to them and then used my battery trying to stay ahead of him. So yeah,
It was Clay behind you, I think.
that's it.
Prodigy
Yeah,
at
Clay
first,
found a
wasn't
lot
it?
of
And then,
pace.
yeah, Clay. We were going to give Clay driver of the day, but as Marcus said right at the start of the interviews, obviously he's a reserve, but he came from 16th to third, so fair play to him. To be fair, I think that was
Yeah,
a
that's
very,
unreal.
very decent little race from him. Anyway, so we're saying Jeddah next week. Marcus, I'm assuming you're looking forward to it. Josh, not so much because you're not here anyway, and you're just gonna have to sit back and watch some points being taken out of your hands, I guess.
Definitely. I think so. I'm
If
praying for a
nothing,
crash. Sorry, Marcus.
anything can happen. The thing, yeah, no. Going back to your point, Jeddah was absolutely my track on 22. It just seemed to flow really well. I think it suits my style. I'm quite a smooth driver with my wheel, and Jeddah is really a wheel track. It suits a wheel user a lot better. So I always managed to get a great rhythm and could keep good pace, and I also was able to run really low wings around Jeddah as well, which was massively OP in the middle and last sector. But I was able to get a great sector one despite the extremely low wings. So that always suited me well. This game, I'm all over the shot. Sometimes I'm rapid, like the last couple of races, and other times I'm so far off the pace I'm barely getting in the top 10. I'm really struggling to get my head around the tyre model on the game, especially when it comes to race pace, which was always my strongest point was race pace. And I felt amazing tonight. I felt like I was driving on 22 again, but I don't know. I've not raced around Jeddah on this game yet, so it varies circuit to circuit. So I'm keeping an open mind.
Yeah, you say about the tyres. I actually agree that I find I don't know about including Lee in this. I don't know if you find that the delta between the tyres is a lot smaller window than it ever used to be. I think I don't think the softs are anywhere near as powerful as they could have been. A fresh set anyway. They do just you say the tyre model is definitely different this year. Are you preferring it or is
No.
it no?
No, I can't say live on stream what I think of it. I absolutely despise it. I despise it. There's a lot that's changed. So the drop off, the way the tires drop off, is just very unrealistic and odd. And they will sometimes have the drop off and then they'll come back to you. You would imagine maybe that's temperature related, but the temperatures stay pretty consistent on them.
Yeah,
But I think also setup has a massive impact on which tyres are better. So I actually think so. Tonight, for example, I think the way I set my car up suited the higher tyre temperatures a bit better. It just seemed to run really well with them, and I think that's why I felt a bit stronger on the softs at the end. whereas the mediums in the first stint, although I felt decent, I was barely clinging on to Josh's DRS. He was towing me along.
Right.
But in the last stint, I was able to actually start attacking him and getting ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think it varies from track to track too.
Yeah, it certainly does. So we've got Jeddah next week. You lads aren't here tomorrow, right? You don't race on Thursdays, neither are you? Am I right?
No.
Oh, I do not.
So you both. Well, sorry, Josh. So are you going to be back in? Is it Vegas the week after next?
I miss Vegas as well,
Oh,
unfortunately. So the title battle is going down the toilet a little bit unless Marcus spins it a few times. Yeah, I'm on holiday for 2 weeks now, so I'm missing 2 races on Monday, 2 on Wednesday.
Where are you off to?
Spain for 2
nice.
weeks, so it should be nice.
Yeah. Well, you should ask the admins to do a mid-season break then, mate. I think it's
Yeah, I think so.
Can't let this title battle go to waste, can we?
I'll message Shuckle after.
I need all the help I can get. Josh is waiting.
Okay, thanks very much anyway, guys, for your time. Anyway, as I said, we'll see you, Marcus, next week on Wednesday, and obviously we'll be back in the comms block on Monday. Me and Lee... Oh, no, sorry, we won't. Lee will be on his own tomorrow night for Zandvoort, as I'm off on my little breakaway this weekend. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video to your friends who like league racing. We'll see you tomorrow, or Lee will see you tomorrow. It's goodbye from me and from Lee.
Peace out.